This is Courtney Clenny, and she went from making $1.8 million a year to now facing life in prison. This is such a wild story and it has so many twists and turns, but it all starts when the police were called to an apartment complex in April of 2022 in Miami. This is where the police found a very frantic Courtney and they asked, "What's going on?" And this is what she said.
I want to be like, I want to be like exonerated, I guess, of like anything wrong. And I want him, okay, the police, I want a restraining order against Christian Kelly.
I want to be exonerated of any wrongdoing sounds very off right away. And clearly something was massively off because just one day later, she ended the life of her boyfriend. Now, if it was intentional or in self-defense, that's up for a jury to decide. But what we know is Courtney was a TikToker, Instagram, and OF model. And at the time, she was apparently living with this boyfriend in Miami. But then some argument broke out and allegedly he was there without her permission. The police were then called and this is what unfolded.
What, you just want to get into your...
I'm not trying
to get into your apartment.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, but you told me I was
Time out. Let me talk, okay.
I feel very like...
What's your name, Courtney?
Yes.
Okay, Courtney.
Why do you have something against me, man? Like, I'm just trying to, like...
What is anything against you? We're trying to talk. So, you just want to get back in your apartment. Unfortunately, he can't be here in the property.
That is totally fine.
Okay, so
he's been literally sleeping in my living room without permission.
What we're going to do is we're going to find him so he can leave the property and you get back to your apartment. What else do you
I
need?
was told I was going to get a chance to speak.
Go ahead, Courtney. What's going on?
It's your turn.
Are you gonna listen?
We're listening. Go ahead.
Say something wrong.
Yes. Yes, they're all three here.
So the cops try to help with the problem, but then she gets upset because they're not listening to her. So when they finally are just quiet to listen to her, she then starts talking to what it seems like her dad on the phone. This interaction's about to get a whole lot more confusing, but first, when you're injured, you deserve the best representation because, hey, your serious injury could be worth millions of dollars. Insurance companies often lowball clients' claims, which is why today's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, can help. Because Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you the money that you deserve. Morgan & Morgan has an incredible amount of verdicts. Insurance companies know it and they wanted me to let you know as well. This firm does not settle for lowball offers because just in the last couple of months, Morgan & Morgan has received verdicts of $12 million in Florida, which was 34 times the highest insurance offer. Then they did $26 million in Philadelphia, which was 40 times the highest insurance offer. And then finally, they did $8 million in Florida, which was also 24 times the highest insurance offer. This firm is not afraid to go to court and fight for the biggest award possible for you. And all law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason because they've won a lot. It only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case, and it's free unless you win. And you can start a claim with America's largest injury law firm in just one click by going to forthepeople.com/Atozy, which will be in the top of the description down below. But without further ado, let's continue the video because here's the full clip of what we saw earlier.
All right, so what do you want to say?
I want to be like, I want to be like exonerated, I guess, of like anything wrong. And I want him, okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Kelly.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious.
Courts.
Can I do that?
You have to go to court. You have to go to downtown.
How can I make myself first? Because I know him and he would do it. How can I make myself first?
You got to get there first.
175 Northwest first time.
Before
175 Northwest.
Is he already on the way?
we have no idea. We don't even know how it looks like.
We don't even know who he is. How do we know that?
So you question this. I need a restraining order against him.
So she wanted the cops to go get the restraining order for her rather than go to the police station herself and get it done. She also made it extremely clear that she wanted to be first with a little bit of a wild look in her eye. Now that could be just to control the narrative, but then she ends her boyfriend's life the very next day. And then the interesting thing about this case is she wasn't arrested then. She wasn't arrested until 4 months later at a rehab in Hawaii. Because in a USA Today article, it states that Clenny told authorities she armed herself with a knife because Obum Selly pushed her and thrown her to the floor. She admitted to causing injuries but gave several inconsistent accounts about what happened. Police could not verify any injuries Clenny said that she sustained. According to the warrant, while certainly not one-sided, the evidence shows there were prior incidents of Clenny being physically violent. The warrant reads, in trying to explain her actions that day to the police, Clenny stated, "I do not think this was, I don't know, I really don't know if this was justified at all. Authorities concluded Clenny acted without justification in an immediately dangerous act demonstrating a depraved mind without regard for human life. Clenny's Miami defense lawyer, Frank Prieto, told the Miami Herald he was completely shocked to learn of the arrest. He said Clenny was in Hawaii for rehabilitation for substance abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder, and maintains his client acted in self-defense and Obumseli's death was justified. We were cooperating with the investigation and offered to voluntarily surrender her if she was charged. Prieto told the outlet, "We look forward to clearing her name in court." So with that in mind, she is currently facing life in prison, and with all the evidence coming forward of all of her terrible behavior, that's going to be quite the uphill battle for them. Now, there's been multiple videos released of her hitting this same guy, and she's also been arrested for battery before against the same guy in Las Vegas. And then on top of that, you have this video of her hitting the same guy in Aspen while they were on vacation. And then there's two more things that came out of complete left field with this story. The first one being her parents were arrested for accessing the victim's laptop. And they also just released why, as Clenny's father, Kim, entered the couple's apartment to clear out his daughter's things, but he also took the victim's laptop. This laptop apparently had all the victim's information, including his iCloud, messages, photos, videos, and so on. And this laptop hadn't been taken by the police, so the court documents allege that he tried to get into the laptop before handing it over to the victim's family. And because of this, Courtney is now also facing computer crime charges. But the parents claim that this was a shared computer between her daughter and the victim. So who knows? Also, could it be a simple mistake? I don't know. But the parents, they claim that her daughter and the victim shared that laptop. That's why they did so. Then the story takes a laughably stupid turn, because apparently she approached an 18-year-old and asked him to walk her home. When the teenager agreed to walk her home, she ended up getting them to sit down on a bench. This is where she apparently tried to kiss him, and when he said no, she started freaking out at him and then ended up screaming at him, saying she was going to burn his house down because she was simply rejected. The teenager was then understandably freaked out, so he called his father. His father showed up pretty quickly, and this is where she starts smacking the father because the son called his father to show up and have his back. So clearly a lot of things were off here. And what makes this worse is this is after she ended the life of her boyfriend. Not before, after. But after she started smacking the father, both the son and the father just left, and I guess simply assumed this is just some insane, intoxicated woman. And in a recent update, another friend of the couple, she came out and stated, "Hey, I've seen the woman hit the man multiple times, but I've never seen the man hit the woman." And what's also new to this story is that Courtney's parents were recently interviewed by TMZ. And here they say if her daughter didn't do that, it would have been her funeral. So here's a clip of that.
Her funeral we were talking about. It would have been the other way around, for sure. I don't remember exactly how she said it, but she I knew that he had been injured.
I was on the phone with my mom. It's right in there, like it's covered in blood because I was on the phone with her while I was trying to get.
I didn't know it was serious at all. I just knew that if he was injured at all, she needed to call 911, and she did.
Well, either way, it's in the hands of a jury right now. Overall, it is just an extremely depressing story, no matter how you look at it. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens from here on out. But as you've noticed from this video, I've been traveling a lot this week, hence why I filmed half the video in my friend's apartment in Seattle and the other half here in this Airbnb in Whistler, Canada. My thumb didn't really survive the trip, but I did. And that's what's important. I'm also confused about my ribs. It's slightly hurting. But hey, either way, we'll get through it. I'm heading home now. So my next video will be back in the studio in front of my low budget talk show city skyline. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.